Hi, it's Aisling. I want to welcome you all to Ace of Spades Tarot as we continue to ring in the astrological new year, which started on the spring equinox. I could think of no better time to start this channel, especially given the current global turbulence we're all experiencing. So for the first 12 readings, I will be using the Romney spread. And so I debated whether or not I would go back and, I debated whether I should shuffle on camera or lay the spread out for you, because it is rather time consuming. So once I start the shuffling process, because I decided to do on camera, I think people like that more, feel free to fast forward. I would like to say, of course, that this is a general reading for the collective energy of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, North Node, really anywhere that Cancer is prominent in your own personal natal chart. And given the fact that this is a general reading, please, take what resonates with your situation and leave what doesn't, and feel free to check out the other readings for your other placements, as they might resonate with your situation better. That being said, I also would invite you to please subscribe, like, share, and comment on the reading. My only request is that if commenting, you do so in a respectful manner, both to me and to the other members of the collective. I kind of have a no asshole policy. I won't be an asshole if you won't be one, and we have enough negativity in this world, so I don't think that any more is necessary. So do remember that in tarot, time is fluid, and I hope that when this reading finds you, it is meant for you. It is a timeless reading. Right now, it's just kind of getting a basic grasp on where the collective stands, the collective energy of Cancer stands in the reading, and what messages, Spirit, universe, whatever you'd like to call God, has for the collective energy. So I'll start shuffling now. Also, you can find an email if you'd like a personal reading. You can find my email in the About section, and probably the description box once I figure out how it works. And that is that. When I was meditating on your energy, I did feel a great feeling of calm, of love, of just kind of really understanding what is going on, both spiritually and kind of globally. I don't know if many of you have kind of had your dark night of the soul recently and have woken up from that, but there was just I just felt overwhelmed with a feeling of just heartfelt love. So it's a beautiful feeling to be in, and I would hope that everyone could experience that feeling. Thank you. Give me 1 second. I realized that I didn't restart my music. So sorry. Back. So let's get into the present energy for Cancer placement. Present energy. I knew something was missing. Oof, that's a lot. We'll be finishing off the reading with a couple of oracle cards. And that will either give further insight or kind of confirm the messages that we've already seen. Saw the 9 of Cups. Let's see if that comes out again. Wow. Okay. Present, please. 2 more for present. Okay. Thank you. More, please. Thank you. Okay. Interesting. Where are the crabs? No. Huh. Okay. Some of you might be Leo, Cancer, cuspers. Wow. Okay. I certainly felt that your energy was okay. Open here. All right. Wow. Just go in reverse or upright. Cut the deck. Cut the deck. Okay. There we go. That is. All right, so let's get started. So you start off in past energy with the 5 of Swords, which is, you know, really the win at all cost card, right? It's definitely it's air energy. It's very mercurial. It's, you know, it's a fight within your own head, you know, but you see 3 people in the card, and the other 2 have walked off. They've left their swords, and you know, you see one figure alone standing, holding 3 swords. It's like he's won, but what does he want? And then you go directly into the Nine of Wands, which is, wands are all about, our physical bodies. So, the Nine of Wands is really like the wounded warrior card. It's been through the battles, and he's holding on to everything he's got, and he's protecting it with his life. But, you see the similarities in these cards in that, this one thinks he's gotten away with something, or this one is fearful and protective, but both are blocking most of their chakras. The sacral chakra and the heart chakra and the root chakra is blocked here. Here he's blocking the roots straight up, and his, the wrap around his head is blocking his third eye and his crown chakra. So it's, between the two of them, it's like you have there was a struggle going on between mind and body in a lot of ways, and then from the Nine of Wands we go into the Eight of Wands, and again the Eight of Wands, similar to the Five of Swords, is you're fighting against kind of invisible enemies here, right? As in a way we all have been doing with this pandemic, right? It's fighting against an invisible enemy that we all can't see, but we're all in the same fight against. But this is happening within you. This could be something that I'm getting. It could possibly be something having to do with health. Also, I don't know. If you've gone through a serious health crisis and trying to fight it. And if so, I send as much healing energy as I can your way. Because, that's never anything fun to go through. Sorry about that. Then we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords to me in this spread here is almost like a combination of what's come before, right? It's like been through the battles of the mind, the battles of the body, fighting the enemy, holding them off, protecting yourself, and then you come out kind of this, come out older and kind of in a way like it's not jaded. Because she's wisdom. She knows all. She knows all, and she might ask you a question, but she already knows the answer. So I always say she's the no BS queen. She's stern, but she's stern and she's mighty. She's not afraid to if she feels you're lying, to cut off your head. It's the come closer, slice card. But she is, whereas like the High Priestess is intuition incarnate, she is wisdom incarnate, as a queen. So I feel like it's taken you a lot to get to this position, because, she's not a young queen. And perhaps you've been in the past very stringent with yourself, stringent with holding on to, your beliefs, holding on to winning, holding on to fighting, those who you think are against you. And you become a queen, and you've come to this Ten of Pentacles. As I always say in tarot, we're always trying to get to the 10. And if you take the Five of Swords plus the sword and the Queen of Swords, you have the Six of Swords, which is, sailing out of rough waters into calmer waters, which we see happening here, right? The Ten of Pentacles is this family legacy card, is abundant. It's, the grandfather and the grandchildren and the dogs and the happy home life and the material abundance, and perhaps you felt like you needed to be rigid in order to to have this. As we move into the Empress energy, which is, fertility. She's fertile with ideas, creativity, abundance, children. She's kind of Mother Nature, if you will. She's, it's Taurus and Libra energy. It's very Venusian. She wears, 9 stars adorn her head, and she's divine feminine incarnate. So it's interesting that you've kind of flown through this as in a way, you've kind of crab walked through it, because it feels like you've taken kind of a circuitous route to get here, but somehow you've managed to do it in whichever way you knew how to do. But then once you've gotten here, you realize you stand here with the 2 of Wands, holding on to your wand, 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 with the world in your hands, realizing there's more to life, than maybe what I've felt was my path, my only path, right? I have choices. The world is my oyster. You're a Cancer, you're a crab, you carry your home on your back, so really you can go anywhere, because you'll always be home, despite being the matriarch of the zodiac. Cancer is the maternal figure. She is, whereas Capricorn is the patriarch. Cancer is the matriarch, but the crab always has its home, and when it outgrows one shell, it will, if you're like a hermit crab, you'll find another shell, and you'll pass on your shell to the next crab that will find it and grow into that, and so you're really, in the past we've seen you kind of grow up in this way, right? And you've learned that it's hard work that gets you to where you need to be. We have the 8 of Pentacles. That's a very tangible card. That is diligence. That is understanding that working hard will get you to this 10 of Pentacles. That that has been so important to you in the past. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is the pre-Empress card. To me, it's she sits in her garden. She has her abundance. She has her pentacle. She's content with holding on to that pentacle. Cancers are often content with, they don't need the luxuries as much as some other signs might, as long as they have their home, their pentacle, what they need, what their children need, what their loved ones need. They're content. She's content. What's interesting that we have 2 kings next. Now, again, gender in tarot is, gender is not defined, it's not necessarily masculine or feminine. We all have divine masculine and divine feminine energy within us. But a queen with 2 kings says some of you Cancers might be dealing with 2 suitors, 2 admirers here. And you've already been in Empress energy. So many of you already have children, you've already had the family life, the perfect on paper family life, right? And you've worked hard and you continue to work hard. And so going from that to the present, perhaps, you've been satisfied with that, but wanting more. And maybe you realized that what you thought you wanted has changed. I think a lot of what we've wanted in the past, over the last couple of years, our priorities have changed, And so we see these 2 kings sitting here, and we have this King of Wands, which is Cancer and Leo energy. This Queen of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy. But I see this is you, Cancer. You know, this King of Wands is looking at this Queen of Pentacles, like, you know, it's really lovingly, adoringly looking out at her. And, you know, we have this little lizard in the background, and the lizard in tarot, it's funny because the lizards will look directly into the sun. It's almost like they'll sun gaze, they'll sunbathe, and they'll sun gaze, right? So allowing this king to gaze at his queen as she gazes at what she's accomplished, proud and content in her accomplishments. Then we have a King of Cups, right, which is you know, which is Scorpio and Aquarius energy, I believe it is. For some reason I'm forgetting. My mind is, it's late. And this King of Cups, you know, he's the most stoic king. This King of Wands is definitely the most fun king. This King of Cups is the most stoic king. He's in complete control of his emotions. And he's looking in the other direction. So perhaps you have two suitors in your life, or two people that are interested in you. One who's intent on you, and one who is, you know, nonplussed, couldn't, you know, very like, okay, whatever, I'm not going to get involved, I'm not, you know, she can come to me. Or it's just interesting that their backs are to each other, and her backs are to both of them, right? But something says inside you, there's, you know, we have again this Five of Wands, which I see a lot. Oftentimes when the Five of Swords comes out, there's also the Five of Wands somewhere in the reading, because, you know, fives are about changes, and they're also about conflicts, and they can be about chaos, and or this is conflict of the mind, this is conflict of you know, inner conflict of the body. So, you know, as peaceful and content and meditative as you sit in your garden, inside there might be this kind of conflict of what do I choose? Who do I choose? You know? And you might be going through that now, and it could be a job situation also. You know, that could very much well be, since we start off with this Eight of Pentacles. Could be that, you know, two jobs are trying to recruit you, and you don't know, you know, one seems overly eager and one seems to not care, and you're not sure which to choose. You want to protect what you've already earned and what you've built for yourself. But there's something going on within you that says, you know, there's some sort of fight within you that's really just chaos. It's a card of chaos. You know, no one really knows who's fighting who or why they're fighting. It's just fighting to fight. So which says it's time for a kind of a break, Cancer. It's time to go within. You know, and you have Justice here, and, you know, similar to this Queen of Swords here, holding the Sword of Truth. You know, it's the major arcana for Libra, but, you know, instead of the hand being raised, beckoning, it's the scales, right? So it's balancing things out. It's learning how to balance things out. The only problem is, next we have the Four of Swords, and it's in reverse. So where you need to go within to balance out this inner conflict, you're not doing it. You're not taking that time out. You know, maybe it's because you feel like there's too much you have to do. There's too much, you still have to work. You know, you're still on the grind. You're still protecting. You're still, you know, and you can't make a decision yet, and you feel like you don't have time to make a decision. You don't have the time, you know, to lay those, to, you know, to lay the swords up and take a break and meditate on everything. You know, in the reverse, the sword is still above, you know, in the upright, the sword is beneath him. He saves his sword here. You have the Three of Swords up here kind of hanging as he meditates on, you know, the mind is still going, but he's in complete meditation stance here. You know, it's resting. But when it's in the reverse, you have, it's almost like you're ignoring the sword of truth that you put aside, and you have these three swords coming directly towards you. And I don't usually get that from this, but that's what I'm feeling. So it's feeling like if you don't take the time out, it's going to lead to possibly a relapse. If there was a sickness in the past, it could be leading to a burnout. Because as we move into the future, we have, you know, the star in reverse, and the star is healing energy. You know, in the upright, the star is major arcana for Aquarius, but it's also the healing card. And you know, she pours water into the pool, but she also pours into the earth, and she's naked, and the stars are all surrounding her, and the bird in the background, and the trees, and she's watering the ground as the plants sprout. But you know, when it's in the reverse, it's not allowing yourself the time to heal. So the fact that we have the sun next, which is major arcana for Leo, and strength following that, which is also a major arcana for Leo, you know, the sun being the happiest card in the deck, and that's wonderful. But it could be that, okay, maybe you have children, right, that you feel like you don't have time to take the time out to heal what's needed to heal within you. You know, because you have you have children that bring you so much happiness, or there's something in your life that brings you so much happiness and so much joy and so much, you know, but it doesn't give you the time that you need to focus on healing and restoring. And that's where strength comes in, and you feel like you're having to use all of your strength, right, to tame. You know, it's got the infinity and symbol above her head, and she's taming a lion. A lion is a you know, a lion. It's hard. You don't just tame a lion, but she does it gently, like, you know, like a mother would with a mother's touch. You know, a maternal figure, just gently taming this lion, this, you know, with inner strength. So perhaps it's that your children or whatever this is that brings you this happiness, brings you this inner strength. But at what cost? Because here we have the Eight of Wands in reverse, which in the upright would mean, you know, rapid movement forward, rapid communication, you know, fast flying, you know, energy, passion. But it's in the reverse, so something is stagnated. And then we have the Tower, you know, which is Mars energy and Platonic energy for me as a reader, and it's, you know, it's something that happens that it's inescapable. I mean, it's you can't predict it, you can't expect it. It just happens, and you know, these people have to exit the burning building and kind of start again on the fool's, you know, on the fool's journey, taking that leap of faith, or they'll get burned alive. You know, they don't really have a choice. When it's in the reverse, it's almost like buying time, I feel here. It's like by not taking the time out to rest, to recover, to recuperate, to not taking the time out that you need to yourself, because you're working and you're giving to others, and you're conflicted inside about choices that you have to make. And justice is saying, hey, come, we need to balance. We need to balance the scales. And it could be, you know, justice can also be like if you're going through a divorce or, you know, custody battle or something like that. But, you know, this is like slow burning, falling. It's not quick. It's delaying the inevitable. And then we have the Knight of Swords that comes in, and comes in with that sword flying, not with the like the Queen of Swords wisdom here that holds the sword. He's, you know, the Knight of Swords, the horse is even scared to go forward. It's like, slow down, bro, slow down, please. And he's like, no, we're going in. We're going in. I don't even know we're fighting, but we're going in. And, you know, taking anyone down in their path. And so, again, it's screaming to me, you gotta take a break from whatever it is that, because this is not a good energy to be in, right? And yes, we have the Emperor here, and we have the Emperor and the Empress. So, again, I'm feeling very strongly a family dynamic, whether it be, and I don't often get this, whether it be an affair, whether it be a separation, whether it be deciding, you know, between what your body wants, what your mind thinks that you should do. You know, there's a disconnect between the two, and you're not taking the time out to heal it, whether it be the relapse of a, you know, chronic illness, or, you know, the Emperor rules with iron fist, right? You know, he rules an empire. He has to, but he's wise. He's still wears his battle armor. He's, you know, it's major arcana for Aries, but you know, also it's Capricorn for me. You know, and it's funny because Capricorn and Cancer, it's the, you know, your divine partners in the 7th house of intimate, you know, partnerships. Cancer being the matriarch, and Capricorn being the patriarch, and feeling like you're the Queen of Pentacles, feeling very strongly this is your energy, and also this is your energy, despite it being a Taurus and Libra, and despite the, you know, it really doesn't matter the signs. Sometimes it does, because it can resonate with, you know, maybe whoever you're dealing with, or maybe you have other placements strongly in your chart. But I do feel like we have two people that have either grown apart, or, as the bottom of the deck has the Ace of Pentacles coming in, which is really a divine gift from, you know, from the universe of, you know, abundance, and a path that's laid out for you, right? Maybe it's not the path that you always had in mind, because you've already reached the 10 of Pentacles, and you've been the Empress, and you've been the Queen of Pentacles, and you've lived. But have you rested? You know, life will go on. You can take a break. And I think that's the biggest message. You know, the Empress is young here, you know? She's young, she's fertile, and the Emperor, despite the fact that they are divine counterparts in the tarot, it's, you know, the Emperor is aged in years, you know? He's no longer the young king that he used to be. So I think it's about finding that place again, finding that fun again, finding that kind of King of Wands energy, because I'm just getting this feeling like this, almost as if these are the same kings, and overnight they seem to have changed, right? And you're focused on your brood, and on your making sure the ship runs smoothly, and making sure that you have the inner strength, and you're not focusing at all on yourself. You're making sure that everyone else is all right. You're making sure that everyone else gets out of the tower while you slowly maybe burn inside. And that's maybe where I was feeling so much love in this reading, is you have so much love for others, but you need to have the love for yourself. Maybe it's also time for you and if you're partnered, for you and your partner to find that love, because there will be an offer coming in. You know, that's the message from Spirit saying, we're giving you something. It's not going anywhere. Take time. Take your time. What you have isn't going anywhere. You can take your time. You know, and in your first column here is your you know, yourself and what really matters to you, and all we really see here is work, right? Because this is not what you want, and not healing yourself is not what you want. So if all you have is work and no play and no fun, then, you know, you can't heal. You have to rest, you have to restore, you have to recuperate. Especially as we get into eclipse season, you know, as energies heighten, and as we get into your your birthday season, Cancer, take some time for yourself, please. And here's your surroundings, your home. You know, so this is kind of protecting everything. You know, maybe you started from a place where you didn't have much, and you felt like you had to fight for everything, you know. And once you had it, you didn't want to let it go. And it brought you, you know, this joy to have what you had, to have the whatever, however little or however much. It's a beautiful attitude of gratitude, right? Which we all could benefit from, everyone having an attitude of gratitude, no matter what we have. So there's happiness here, but there's a sense of melancholia, of something missing. In your hopes and your fears, it's like you want to indulge. Part of you wants to indulge. You don't want to go back to this fighting, right? You don't want to go back to fighting. And you want to indulge in that fun, in that flirtation, in the romance again. You know, Leo rules the 5th house of romance. Again, this is Cancer and Leo energy, and so it's kind of it's a good pairing, and the 5th house is also all about, you know, things pleasurable. You know, it can also be, you know, not so great things like gambling and whatever, but it's things that bring you joy. And it's almost like you're fighting that joy. You're fighting, you know, with this inner strength, this infinite well of inner strength to tame the beast, almost like the beast within you, right? Because that's really the only beast we can fully tame, is the beast within ourselves. And I think you're afraid that that strength will run out. It won't run out. But allow yourself, you know, don't fear letting go a little bit. Don't fear letting the sun shine on you, as this lizard does. You don't have to look directly in it. You don't want to be blinded. But you can let it shine on you. You don't have to stay veiled looking down away from it. In the, you know, your known factors, here we know where you were. We know what you had to do to get to where you are. We know that you walked a strict line, and you carved that line for yourself. You drew that line in the sand, and you raised that sword, and your boundaries were taught, you know? But it also, below it, you have this King of Cups who's, I mean, cups are emotions. And yes, he is in control of his emotions. And he's stoic. But it doesn't mean they don't exist. They're still there. He's still water energy. He's still the King of Cups. You know, but the Queen of Swords, this air energy and this water, this, you know, together, that's a tempest brewing. And the communication stops. You know, the passion stops. She's looking one way. He's looking this way. there isn't a chemistry between them. There isn't a flirtation. There is a just doing what they have to do. And then the hidden factors is what, you know, what you forget sometimes you have is this abundance, is this family, is this love, is this, you know, but then also this fight within yourself and this need to make sure that that tower doesn't happen, that, you know, that everyone stays safe. Just delays the inevitable, right? And you just continue to fight within yourself while everything looks good on the outside. So in the short-term future, you have, you know, the Empress, Justice, and the Knight of Swords. Eventually you'll snap. You know, the Empress, young, abundant, full of creativity and fertile and divine feminine energy, to Justice, which is more serious and balanced, okay, to snapping, to regressing to the Knight of Swords, where all of a sudden it's like this Queen of Swords who will cut off your head if you know, if you cross her line, to like, I don't know where the line is way back there. Fuck the line. I'm going forward anyway. I don't care who I hurt anymore. And that's what you want to stay away from. In the long-term future, read this way, you know, you have this Two of Wands where you felt like you could do anything, right? To this realizing, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time for myself. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And realizing you're ruling an empire with an emperor, or you've become the emperor that rules with an iron fist, where you have no time again for the fun, for the flirtation, for the romance, for the joie de vivre that one needs to have, for the restorative healing. Again, if anyone's been sick, I'm sending you great healing energy as much as I can. You don't often get that, but you know, it ages you faster than it need to. And you still remember, you still have an ace up your sleeve, an Ace of Pentacles. Your abundance isn't going anywhere. It's divinely gifted, so you can relax. Okay, Cancers? I'm a Cancer Venus, so I resonate with Cancer energy quite a bit. But I will say, I'm not sure if this was my reading. But I hope it resonates with someone out there. It's someone's reading, that's for sure. It felt very specific. I'm going to pull, just to check in on the energies, Kim Krantz's the Wild Unknown Spirit Animal deck, which I love. So worn. So past energy, we have Oyster, which actually kind of makes sense. You know, within the oyster is always a pearl, right? But unless that oyster opens, the pearl is not seen. And I feel like, in a way, it's walking this tight line and making sure that everything is as it needs to be to get to where you need to go. The oyster kind of shuts off, right? Kind of like this Queen of Swords. But again, as I said, the Queen of Swords, she knows all. And the oyster has the pearl of wisdom, right? So the Queen of Swords has the sword of truth, has the sword of wisdom. So, the camel and the lion. Now we have the lion and the lion right here. The camel can travel great distances, as we've seen you done, right? I mean, no other animal, I mean, the camel walks across deserts, carrying loads, you know, and drinks from its own well. It's, you know, you have this, you know, this waxing crescent moon here, which means, you know, we've just, as we go into the new moon and then into the waxing, you know, it's heading towards the full moon. And the camel still travels, doesn't complain, just works, carries its load, carries its own well. You need to make sure that you fill your well, that you don't let your well spill out to everyone else, and your well then runs dry. Because you have the lion coming in, that strength, right? And finding that, you know, that's that red and orange and yellow, that's that root chakra, that solar plexus chakra, that sacral chakra, that, you know, the lion is the king. It's that strength energy. And you're able to tame that energy within you. But you also need to let it loose a little bit. Let the lions have fun. Lions hunt. They hunt with their pride. They are fiercely protective of their families. You know? But they also make time for play. They play together. So it's about, I think, refinding that, you know, relighting that spark within you, within a relationship, or if it's a job, or whatever it is that you know is there. Taking the time out to kind of rest as the camel wanders the desert with its well full. Take the time to refill your own well so that you can reappear as that lion, as that strength, you know, which you have so maternally tamed within you. Now I'll ask you to think of a question, and hopefully you can get, you know, a small answer from the Moonology Oracle deck, as it is around the time of the Aries new moon. So I feel like it's fitting. Just think of, you know, any questions on your mind. Keep it simple. A new romantic cycle begins. New moon in Libra. Finding that balance, right? Finding that balance. Also the Empress, again, that Libra energy. And finding the romance is what we've been talking about. Letting yourself refill your well. Letting yourself heal. Stopping conflict. Allowing yourself to have some fun. You don't have to save everyone. Let the new romantic cycle begin, whether it's with a new partner, an old partner, yourself, your family, your friends, whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be in love. It doesn't have to be romantic in the sense of a partner. Just as balancing the scales so that you're not always giving and not saving anything for yourself. Perfect card to define this reading. And lastly, not the book. Lastly, we'll do whatever crystals could help. Go, Cancer. Sunstone. Take pleasure in the things you do. Take pleasure in the things you do. Sunstone. I'll put it here for you. And I will read from this book. Might want to pause this and grab a journal if you're someone that likes to journal, because they do. This book does ask questions, which I love, and I think getting in a little daily journal habit is really important. Sunstone, take pleasure in the things you do. Don't just stop and smell the roses, make yourself a bouquet. If you find yourself moving through your day on autopilot, force yourself to stop and take a moment to appreciate the beauty in your life. If you find you're always focused on what's next, allow yourself to appreciate the moment at hand. You can even put a reminder in your phone if needed. You only get one life, allow yourself time to enjoy it. Do something that gives you a significant boost of energy and happiness, something that fills your cup. I mean, literally just said that. And feeds your soul. Take delight in everything you do, because it's those little pleasures that make life truly worth living. So the core questions are, what is the greatest pleasure in your life? And what is a small joy you experience every day? Those two questions. What is the greatest pleasure in your life? What is a small joy you experience every day? The affirmation is, I have plenty of time. Thank you. What did I say? You have time. Take time out. I have plenty of time. Today, savor a small moment that you usually take for granted, such as a hot cup of coffee or exchanging smiles with a stranger. I have plenty of time. Wow, what a beautiful way to end this. And it's really everything we just talked about. I love when that happens. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, subscribe, comment. All the things, I think I already said subscribe, whatever. You know what to do. I'm going to just ring my grandmother's little bell to close it out. Just a little. Oh, it says Julia, joy. Find that joy. Thank you so much. Ciao for now, Cancers. Namaste.